The pleasures in life, just hold on and be strong.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ramadan FM. You're listening to the Hajj Show. This is 87.9. I hope you're well on this lovely sunny day. I'm Ruxana, and today we've got the Hajj Show for the Iftar show. I'm joined in the studio today by Imam Ahmed Halal. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you today?
I'm okay, alhamdulillah. Can you hear me very well?
Alhamdulillah, you're coming across fine, thank you. Jazakallah khair.
MashaAllah.
So, mashallah, you're also a centre manager for Milton Keynes Muslim Association, and you're also the CEO of MK Tours, to add to your list of accolades. So thank you so much for joining us on the show, and I'm sure people will be very interested to find out what's happening with Hajj this year. So before we go into that, we just wanted to tell you that you can send us a WhatsApp message. You can even call the studio line, but I recommend that you just send us a text. The text, if you want to do that, is 07591 970 241. And we are streaming live on Facebook, so you can catch this later if you miss anything. And please do ask questions. And hopefully, inshallah, Imam Ahmed will be able to answer them. So let's talk about Hajj then. People are probably thinking right now that due to the pandemic, this might not happen. What's the current situation?
It's a very good question. At the moment, nothing. There is no any official announcement in terms of Hajj. So there are some, hearsay by people say, it might be a 25%, from the external, which basically the whole population around the world, basically. So maybe UK will get some percentage, and so currently there is no
is happening, but I know for sure it's happening. I've just adjusted my mic. I don't know if you can still hear me very clear.
To be honest, it was probably better when you had it before because you're a little bit distant now. So
Right.
just for those listeners, to recap, you were saying that you're not quite sure of the Hajj allocation yet, whether there will
Correct.
be one or not. Okay.
I mean, at the moment, it's kind of like it's 50-50. So it's, yeah, I've just tried to turn it.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I just wanted to have, talk about last year, because we were in the thick of the pandemic last year. And I think I just saw images of a very, very, very small number of people doing the Hajj. And I think they were from the local area in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca, or around. Maybe you could explain a bit more about that. So nobody was allowed to go to Hajj last year from outside
last
Saudi.
year, as far as I'm concerned, there were some, only around the Saudi Arabia and the neighbors. But this year there is news that it's not officially that it will happen, but I'm pretty sure that Hajj is going to happen, inshallah. But is how much is the population, how many visas will the UK receive, or any other countries? As far as I'm concerned, at the moment there isn't any official news. So finger crossed, we're just waiting to hear what's going to happen. But my advice until now to those who are intending to go and perform Hajj is they should hold their money. They should not give money to any travel agency, because there isn't any official news from the Saudi Arabia. You'll probably see some agents advertising, saying there's a Hajj, these are requirements, you have to get vaccine, you have to do this and that. They talking about, age-wise as well, like, from 18 to 60. These are just, basically, this is like a public information. At the moment, there are some countries from Far East, they can go and perform Umrah. But again, they have like a limitation in terms of, the age-wise. They have limit from 18 years old to 60 years old. However, this is only apply for Umrah. Of course, they say that you have to do the PCR test before you arrive, this and that. And now it's one of the things that I know it's a must is like you have to be vaccinated in order for you to go and perform Hajj or Umrah. But like I said to you, hold your money, because any agency who are advertising Hajj now, they're not sure themselves. It's just like, it's a business basically. One thing people have to understand is Hajj also is a business. People are making money out of Hajj, which is halal. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be precisely sure when you hand over your money to somebody. And it is going to be very, very tight. They're not going to allow like what it used to be. Like, let's say maybe 10,000 from UK or 50,000, whatever number is from UK, is not going to be the same. Absolutely no. So there will be a lot of people who commit themselves to give the money up front, and they're not going to have Hajj. So the best way is to hold your money until when you are 100% sure that it's happening, then you give your money out. And I don't know if that's very clear, but also I need to advise people as well, when you go and book, make sure the particular travel agent is at all protected. If it is not, you are in trouble.
Okay. So if people are, so when would you expect to hear? When are you expecting to hear what's going on exactly?
Usually is in the month of Shaban. People, already, knows kind of, how many visas they will receive. But it goes all the way until Ramadan. So by the middle of Ramadan, if you don't hear anything, that means you're gonna have to wait until the first, the Shawwal, just after Ramadan. Then there will be some announcement. But we are hoping, pray, by the middle of Ramadan or end of Ramadan,
Right.
then there will be some announcements from the Saudi Arabia, inshallah, and then people will know where they stand.
Okay. Are you also waiting for the UK government to, say that country isn't on the red list? And I think they're talking about travel, aren't they, on the 15th of May, around that date? Will you be waiting for them to communicate with you as well?
Yeah, because at the moment, as far as we're standing, is travel industry is closed until the 17th of May. That is when they're going to be official announcement that we are allowed to book holidays. So I don't know whether Hajj it will be under those permission, because at the moment only those who are traveling, they are they can travel for in terms of work, or maybe funeral, or maybe I think wedding as well. But Hajj it's not there yet. So if they if the matter is going to be clarified, then we will know whether we can go ahead with the Hajj or not.
Okay.
But until the 17th, because also Saudi Arabia, they have announced on the 17th of May, that is when they're going to allow the international flights in and out of Saudi Arabia. And for some reason also, it is coincidence that UK also travel industry will be opening officially, inshallah, on the 17th of May, which is, of course, MK Tours as well. It will be opening on the 17th of May.
Okay, inshallah. So let's assume then that Hajj is, inshallah, going ahead. What would one prepare, and how will it be different from those who may have gone to Hajj before the pandemic?
Preparation for Hajj is going to take quite a lot of hard work this time around, because before it was just you pack your bags. Of course, mentally you have to be ready as well, and spiritual you have to be ready. But this time, health-wise, is more important than anything else, because if you went with me yourself, if you remember that in the tents there were 70 people, those days are gone. You're not going to. Definitely that won't happen again. Okay, I will just share with you a little experience, because I was planning to take a group to Umrah back in April. Sorry, back in October last year. And one of the requirements that I was advised is in the rooms, no more quad sharing. It's only twin sharing. So you cannot have 4 people in the room anymore. Of course, that time the vaccine was not there. But then now the vaccine is out. So also things will be different as well. So we don't know again how you can prepare. But because before we went, 4 people in the room, sometimes 5 people in the room. So right now, I think Hajj, honestly, is going to be expensive. So one of the things also you need to prepare yourself is financial wise, because everything is going up. So financial wise, you have to be prepared, health wise, spiritual, and of course, patience is a key in terms of Hajj. So number one, you got to go and check whoever is selling you a package, because Hajj is a package. You cannot have Hajj without a package. And as long as Hajj is a package and you are traveling from UK, it's a must. It's a must. You have to get your ATO certificate. As soon as you put your deposit down, you have to demand your certificate, because nobody knew about the pandemic before. Now this is it's a must basically. And we have experience from 2020. There were about 4 packages. All of them have to be cancelled, and we have to refund people their money. So number one, you have to make sure this particular travel agent is ATO protected. Then you will have no problem. And number two, when you give your deposit, you have to try your best to transfer money, because it's easy to trace it back. Don't give cash. If you give cash, that's it. Right. So that's financial wise, basically.
Okay, so it's got to be ATOL protected, and make sure that you're transferring electronically. Don't give cash, to make sure that you get your money back. And also, don't do anything yet. Wait for the announcements.
And on top of that, you need to look at something called admin fee, because a lot has happened. Admin fee is something the agents, they don't tell you. And I'm telling you now, you have to read that admin fee. How much do they, in case the package is canceled? God forbid, for example, if there's another pandemic, as an airline might be able to refund you full, but the agent will definitely not going to give you the whole money. Let's say you pay £5,000. They will try their best somehow how to take that money from you. And it's with their right, but of course, this is something that you have to agree in. They will definitely give you the terms and conditions and demand what is your admin fee. Because I had to refund about, I think, 3 or 4 packages with no admin fee. But within the UK, I think probably, maybe you might find another agency, but apart from myself, I haven't seen anyone who has refunded full amount of money.
Okay.
And also, there's one more thing. You need to find that agent. If it's, the package itself, where does he get the airline from? The flight itself. The flight, do they buy flights from another suppliers, or do they go directly to the airline? In our case, for example, in the past experience, we went directly to the flight, because we are IATA accredited. So when it comes to request the refund, there was no any other person involved except myself and the airline and the customer. So the chain is not that big. So when a customer comes to you, asks for the money, for the refund, then you go to the airline refunds you, then you refund to the customer. But if there's a chain of supply is big, then it goes in a circle until when you receive the money, it's probably there's a lot of admin has gone through, and then you've lost quite a lot of money. So these are the little tricks that people need to bear in mind before book.
Okay, so if somebody's thinking about going to Hajj, and let's say they're mentally prepared, they're financially prepared, they know what they're doing in terms of the agent, they know they're accredited, they're trustworthy, and they're all prepared to go and apply to go to Hajj once, inshallah, things are available in terms of travel. What then happens about the vaccine? Now, if you are a person who's already been vaccinated, having the first vaccine, do you have to have the second one to be able to go, or are you okay just having the first one and then have the second one when you come back? Do you know about anything
According to
about
the
that?
news that I've seen it, they say yes, the first dose you can be allowed to go. However, you need to do PCR test before you travel. And then when you
Okay.
go there as well, there's kind of isolation that you have to do. But as the days goes by, because Hajj is we're hoping it's in July, you know.
Mm.
So in that case, that means they have already made a mandatory without a vaccine, no Hajj. Simple
Okay.
as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
they've already made that decision. Okay.
they have made
So
that decision. So of course there will be further announcement as the days goes by.
yeah, and also you've got to check on the red list of countries as well. You could have booked something, and the
Of course.
status of that country might have changed
Mhm.
as well. So it's very
Mhm.
hit and miss, I can imagine. Um, are you
Yep.
prepared?
I mean, I am prepared if everything goes well, and of course accordingly to see the amount of visas that we receive, inshallah, and to see
Okay.
if it's manageable. Because to me, it's of course we want to. It's a business.
Hmm.
It's a course. We need to make profit, but at the same time, we look at people's health and we look at the safety of people as well. Because for example, I had an option, for example, to travel in this October to go for Umrah, but then I see another option for December. So I had I had to delay it, and according obviously to the airline, that's the beauty when you speak direct to the airline advisor. This is the situation. If you can delay further, it's safe for you. However, yes, if Hajj comes, by all means, after I look at the safety and everything, I am prepared to take people on board. But at the moment,
Okay.
I would say it's like 50-50. It's not happening.
Okay. So before we finish this segment, how can people get in touch with you if they're thinking about booking Hajj and maybe get your contact details now?
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, sorry, I was saying, so if people are thinking of going on Hajj with yourself, how can they get in touch with you and start talking to you now about it?
Oh yeah, of course. We are located in Regency Court, Upper Fifth North Street, 220, and of course a lot of people they know myself, so if they call me, they've got my mobile number 079-8577-3669. Alternatively, if you just Google MK Tours or Milton Keynes Tours Limited, you'll find us. You'll find our address and our telephone number, and everything is there. We've got a website, so you can obviously make an inquiry. Yeah, but like I said, currently we are not taking any bookings because we know for sure there is no official news from Saudi Arabia. Until when it's there, then inshallah we will be able to help whatever we can.
Okay. All right. So we've got an ad break in about 5 minutes. Before we go to an ad break, what should people be thinking about packing to take to Hajj?
That one you can share with me because you have been there before, so
Okay. So
there's
if I remember this
quite a lot of
rightly,
stuff.
a face mask, but we didn't use them back in those days.
That's a
Not
must.
too far long ago.
We did use, if you remember, we did use them when we were in Muzdalifah, when we slept outside because of the dust. Then we had to wear them.
Okay, let me see if I get this right. So you've got to take toiletries, but non-scented toiletries. They can't have any perfumes in them.
Correct.
You've got to take a
Mm-hmm.
backpack when you go to Muzdalifah, because
Mm-hmm.
there's limited space. You
Yep.
need to take obviously
Mm-hmm.
clothes for ladies, suitable attire to cover yourself. For men, the best thing is to have 2 ihrams, one for when
Yep.
they're doing the umrah, and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
get very messy, so they're going to need to change as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to take some money with you. You need to
Correct.
have to pay for your gurbani as well. So make sure you've got
Yep.
a good amount of money with you. You're going to need to take things like ibuprofen, paracetamol, your medications, anything that you need on a day-to-day basis as well. a prayer mat if you can squeeze one in. The prayer mat's very useful. Some bags, a small backpack for your shoes, because you'll be carrying those around with you all the time. Ideally, a water bottle that you can refill and reuse. Your passport. I guess you need some sort of certificate for your vaccine. You'll need your visa. You'd need to get all of your paperwork in order. A guide, ideally a guide on
Write a
Hajj.
will.
You can get, sorry? Ideally a
Write
guide
your
for
will.
Hajj. You what, sorry? Am I getting
Your
there?
will, when you're leaving, because
Your will, yes, your
yeah.
will. So if you're leaving, that could be the final time that you ever leave, and don't come back. So do make sure your will is in order. Make sure if you're
Mm-hmm.
leaving children behind, they're being looked after with responsible adults. Make sure your house is in order. What else? What have I missed? Anything obvious?
Yeah. Important as well. It's like when you talk about your passport, make sure you take a copy. Just photocopy of your
Yes.
passport. Photocopy if there's a visa separate. The photocopy of your basically all important documents. Try to have a second copy. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
And
you'll be
also
all right.
take a photo of your suitcase when they've put the label on it, because if your baggage
Mm-hmm.
gets lost, that's really going to help.
Yeah. It's but
And something to sleep on when you go to Muzdalifah, something light.
yeah, those kind of things they can purchase them in a beautiful place called Azizia. They'll purchase them.
Yes.
There are quite a lot of sleeping bags out there. Even the prayer mats and all those kind of things, they will be available there. But the most important thing is, if you're in medication, make sure that you collect all your tablets and everything, painkillers and things. Of course, there are quite a lot of pharmacies and things like that. But if you are already, under medication, make sure you take all your prescriptions. And also to note, it depends upon who you're traveling with, because some agency, for example, they provide you with the pack bags and things like that. So it's good to to look out, who you with.
Yeah. Would you provide a ihram, or do people need to purchase their own?
Usually our packages, they come with the ihram, comes with the backpacks, and then of course this time probably they want to come with a face mask. So it depends, and of course it depends where we're going to start. If, for example, we start in Medina, I usually advise people it's better you buy your ihram in Medina, because now from all these packages that I've been doing, I've been starting in Medina, because I've realized it's so relaxing when you start there rather than when you start hectic in Makkah straight away, because of this changing ihram on the aeroplane. Or sometimes you got.
Yeah, we've got. Sorry, we're going to ads now.
We'll come back to that, inshallah.
Yeah.
This is Ramadan. Feed your soul while your body fasts.
Ramadan Mubarak from Adam Accounting Services.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Need help with your accounts and tax work?
Contact us today on 01908 692 380 and see how we can help.
Adam Accounting Services, friendly local accountants. Call us today on 01908 692 380.
Ramadan Mubarak from Caprino's Pizza. After a long day of fasting, order our delicious pizzas, sides, cookies and much more to break your fast. During this Ramadan, we are offering 15% off if you order online, as well as free delivery, plus special offers if you collect. You can order from Just Eat, Deliveroo, Uber Eats and our website, caprinospizza.co.uk. For more details, contact 01908 675 947 or visit North 10th Street, Lloyds Court, Milton Keynes City Centre, MK9 3EL.
Awarded the UK's Best Muslim Charity of the Year. Muslim Global Relief, bringing hope to life for 20 years in over 40 countries around the world. Every water pump you helped to install, every needy person you helped to feed, every orphan child that you sent to school has a powerful impact on people's lives. Let us continue to make change. Make a 100% zakat donation today. Visit muslimglobalrelief.org.
Waffles, crepes, cookie dough, ice cream, just what you need after a long day of fasting. Dessert Island is open until 1 a.m. during Ramadan, 7 days a week, and there is free parking at the rear. Come and see us at 116 to 118 Queensway, Bletchley. We can even deliver. Just visit dessert-island.co.uk or download the app.
Have you ever thought about how Muslims from other parts of the world practice their faith? How their experience of being a Muslim might be similar or different than yours? If so, join me every Thursday during Ramadan from 3 to 4 p.m. for my show, Muslim Stories from Around the World, where I sit down with a Muslim from a different part of the world in each episode and just talk to them about their life and their experience. That's Muslim Stories from Around the World, every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. with your host, Harun.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Hannah from The Hajj Show. Join me and my special guests every Saturday at 1:15 p.m. for friendly conversations about the 5 pillars of Islam. What are the Hajj perspectives on the joys and challenges of prayer, fasting, charity, and the pilgrimage? Find out by tuning in to The Hajj Show every Saturday at 1:15 p.m.
For a list of all our sponsors, please visit ramadanfm.com.
Ramadan, 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 87.9 FM.
Welcome back to the Hajj Show. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ruxana, and we've just been talking about Hajj with Imam Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
Oh,
So,
great. Alhamdulillah, we are good.
Alhamdulillah. Thanks for joining us today. Just before the ad break, we were discussing about preparation for Hajj and the situation at the moment. I just actually had a thought. What happens if Hajj is cancelled towards the last minute? Will people get a full refund or a partial one?
Okay, this is a situation that it was last year, because you see, when people put their money down, usually it takes some time for the money to basically travel agents will advertise the package. For example, from December, people tend to advertise it, and then people start paying. For example, in installment, they pay slowly until maybe Ramadan, and then their payments, and some just pay in one lump sum. So the situation is, again, it depends who did you book with. If you have booked directly with someone who is ATAL protected and obviously with IATA accredited, deals with the airline straight away, then if they're not applying any admin fees, and if the package is cancelled, for example, let's say the flight is cancelled, by the airline, then yes, by all means, you'll be in a position to get all your full refund. However, let's say there are some cases, some people cancel themselves before the package get cancelled. That means here you lose the money. So the best way to do is to wait, like you said, if it's been cancelled. For what reasons? Because the flight is not, maybe the country is bad, then the airline, they have option, either sometimes they write you like a credit note or maybe some sort of voucher, but usually the government interferes and says, no, you are due to receive your full refund. So then you get your full refund in terms of the flight. Now, hotels, again here, it depends, this travel agent, how does he book his hotels? Does he directly talk to the hotels in Makkah and Medina, or does he go through a third party? You see, now again, it's good because you see, for our cases, for example, all the flights, all the hotels, we don't have a middleman. we deal directly with the hotels in Mecca. We make payments to them. So when we request a refund, they refund to us straight away. So again, this, to answer this in short, is you just have to make sure this travel agency does everything for themselves. And in that case, if the flight has been canceled, the package has been canceled, then yes, you will be entitled of your refund, because obviously you want to go, but for example, the government stops you from going, then you can get your money.
Okay, so people really need to know who they're traveling with and do a lot of background checks and ask a lot of questions.
Right now, Roxana G, we have to do a proper check. Unless otherwise you're going to lose your money. Because I'm telling you right now, there are people who put their money from last year, they haven't got their money now.
Okay.
And when we talk about Hajj, we're talking about 1,000 or 2,000. We're talking about 7,000, depends upon the company. And some people, they put at least, imagine if a family of 5 and they pay £7,000 per person. We're talking about 35,000 K here. And somebody doesn't have that money. People, they are life saving. And when we come to Hajj, our hearts become so soft. We're thinking we're going to the house of Allah. This guy, he's not going to trick me. He's not going to cheat me. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Not every travel agency is an imam. And not every travel agency is an honest person. So we got, about the honesty and everything, we just have to have things on paper. When you've got everything on paper, you'll be in a better position. I know it's a hard show, but it's kind of, we're not going to be talking about Muzdalifah and Mina and those kind of things, but because this time it's about checking where you're going, where you're giving your money to, because you're life saving, remember.
All right, let's if anyone's got any questions about this, and if anyone wants some advice, please just text us on the WhatsApp. If you're listening to this on your PC or your laptop, you can text us on the WhatsApp. You can text us when a question comes to you later on after the show, or you can email info@ramadanfm.com and we'll forward them to Imam Ahmed, inshallah. Let's move on a bit though, because I'm sure people who haven't done the Hajj would like to know more about the Hajj. So presuming everything's fine and people have got their Hajj places, we've made it on the aeroplane, what happens from that point? And let's assume there are different ways of starting Hajj. You can either go and do an Umrah first and then make intention for Hajj, or you can sort of make intention mid-flight even. Let's start at that point. Let's pretend that we are going to make intention in the flight for Umrah to begin with, and this is before the time of Hajj. Can you just talk us through the process from that, please?
Okay, one, there's 3 types of Hajj. Okay, so we're just going to concentrate on one because this is the common one, which most of us are doing. Basically, the one you just said, you start with the Umrah. Now again, two important point here is to find out where are you going to start. Are you starting in Medina or are you starting in Mecca? So if, for example, if you start in Medina, an important thing here, we need to know first the intention. Where are we put our intention? Do we, again, so it matters. So for example, if you're starting in Mecca, that means you're going to have to change. And if you're traveling directly as well, so let's say from Heathrow to Jeddah, for example, or Heathrow to, Medina. Basically, if it's a direct flight, then it's advisable you change your ihram at Heathrow Airport if you're traveling directly to Saudi Arabia, because as soon as you pass miqat, is known as miqat is a boundary. You need to proclaim your intention that labbaik Allahumma bi umrah, because you are starting with umrah first, and then you make your way. But if you start in Medina, you don't have any problem. Basically, you can wear your normal clothes until when you get to Medina, you rest, and then the day that you leave in Medina to go to Mecca, there's a place called Dhul Hulayfa, Masjid Dhul Hulayfa. Here is a place where the Prophet, peace be upon him, he made his intention with his companions when he went to perform Hajj. So it's a big, it's a big place now. They build a big masjid. There's a toilet facilities and everything. But again, with the situation, you are in, better, change it from your hotel, shower from your hotel, and put your wudu in hotel. In case you lose your wudu, you can use the facilities in Dhul Hulayfa. There you make meditation, labbaik Allahumma bi umrah. Officially, you are now in the state of ihram. Now there are certain things applies here that you cannot do them. For example, you cannot clip your nails, you cannot go hunting, you cannot get married. When I say you cannot get married, in fact, we have a show called The Marriage. Inshallah, we will come up with it next week, inshallah, I believe. So, and you cannot apply perfumes, and there are other restrictions. Basically, we cannot name all of them now because of the time limit. So we assuming that you're coming from Medina, and if you're coming from Mecca, it's exactly the same. It's only probably you're gonna do your intention on the aeroplane. When the pilot will announce this, now you have reached the miqat, will say it in English and they say in Arabic. So of course, as soon as you hear, then you make your intention. Sometimes they remind you half an hour before you reach the miqat or the boundary, and then the next 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 5 minutes, then they say now you are at the miqat. You proclaim your intent, labbaik Allahumma bi umrah. From there onwards, you are in a state of ihram, depending where you are. So straight away, you go to the obviously airport. There's a lot of it's very busy activities. Now you have to wait for your bus. It depends. We skip that. You are already in basically at the airport. If you need to change the money, maybe to buy a SIM card, is advisable there. You need to buy the SIM card, because when you go to the hotels and when you reach Makkah, it's very, very busy, and you really don't want to waste more time in terms of buying the SIM cards and things like that. So it's best to just change a little bit money, in airport, buy your SIM card, and off you go. Reach the hotel, you are allowed to refresh here. You can take a shower, but remember, no using soap which has got any perfumes or any scents here. So free from, they call them Hajj soap. So you can use that, and then you cannot apply any like a sort of like a perfume, anything like that. Basically just to refresh, and it's best you refresh, put your ihram back on. For the ladies, the same thing. You can shower. You can shower with plain water. If you need to use a soap, make sure you use a soap which hasn't got any perfume. And then make your way to perform Umrah. You want to take us through how to perform Umrah, because you remember that. I cannot hear you. I think you're mute.
Sorry, yes, I am. Sorry, I was saying you make your intention, you do the tawaf 7 times, and each time when you reach the Maqam Ibrahim, is it?
Hajj
Then
al-Aswad, the black stone.
The black stone, that's it. Hajar al-Aswad, and I know you put your hand up, I can't remember what you say.
Bismillah, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Bismillah,
And you
Allahu
go
Akbar.
around. That's it.
Yeah.
So you do that 7 times, and then afterwards you make 2 rak'ah at the Maqam Ibrahim. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And then from there you go to the Mount Safa and Marwa, and you need to go from point to point. Oh, you need to eat. Sorry. After the 2 rak'ah, you need to drink Abu Zamzam water. Then you go to the Safa and Marwa, and you make another intention there, another dua. And then I don't know what that dua is. Can you please let me know?
When you get to when you start to go into Safa and Marwa, there's a verse from the Quran there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Inna Safa wal Marwa min sha'airillah," up to the end of the verse. But basically, you say, "Abda'u kama bada Allahu bi." I start like Allah, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts, which He starts with Safa. So you go in the Safa. So you go to the mountain of Safa. You look at the Kaaba. Then you make your dua there. You say there's a talbiyah there. You make Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu al-mulku wa lahu al-hamdu yuhyi wa yumiitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. It's a long supplication, and then there in between you make your duas, and then you repeat the same supplication. You descend to Marwa. So you do that 3 times basically. You start with Safa. When you go to Marwa, that's 1. When you come back from Marwa to Safa, that's 2. When you go from Safa to so basically you need to finish at Marwa. So that's 7 times. Then after that, you just your nail, your hair. For the ladies, just tips of your head. And for men, because you're going Hajj this time, you can just cut your hair short. Don't go bald, because you need your hair when you come from Hajj. So then after that, back to the hotels, everything done. The next thing what happens is that when they proclaim now is when they see the moon, so now you're officially in the Dhul Hijjah. So they say, okay, now tomorrow is Arafah. Now today you make your niyyah again. So take a shower again just before, because after the Umrah, once you cut your hair and everything, you are free from Ihram. So you don't have to wear Ihram anymore, the 2 pieces of clothes, and all the restrictions. Go on.
I was going to say, if you've gone early, let's say you've gone, I don't know, 5 days early, you've done your Umrah, and you can then have a rest, can't you? You can then relax, and then you can enjoy where you are, and just pray, make ibadah. You can come out of Ihram, and then when you go start traveling again for Hajj, then you make the intention again.
Correct. Yes. That's some agents say some people they prefer that they go maybe a couple of days earlier to climatize, so that they because it's heat and stuff. So it depends actually which time of the year, because this time Hajj is going down slowly. So maybe the temperature is not going to be that hot like it was about 4 or 5 years ago. So after that, of course, you're going to go back and forth and perform your prayers and things like that. And then the day to perform Hajj, in the night they will say, okay, Maghrib time, then you say Labbaik Allahumma bi Hajj. So here, Allah, I am to perform Hajj. Then depends again upon your who is your operator. They will take you to a place called Mina. Okay, Mina, it's a very tough area, tough place, I should say. But hopefully, because of the COVID, maybe things will be, in better. They'll be in a better way, basically. So there in Mina, this is your new home temporarily for about 3 or 4 days. So again, here I think Roxana already mentioned that you need to take your like a backpack. So this in this backpack you will have your clothes for Eid, and you'll have your toiletries, and you have if medication, don't forget them, and things like that. So of course by this time you have purchased your sleeping bag. You got your face mask, because you definitely need it, even before Corona we used to wear face masks in Muzdalifah because it's very dusty in the night, so we wear them over the night. So after that, you reach your Mina tent. Before then, it used to be 70 people, up to 80, depends. So people are cramped inside the tent. So you sleep in next side is another man. So hopefully this time around, things are not going to be the same. So of course the numbers will be very limited. But that's the experience. So the next thing, next morning, this day is called Day of Tarwiyah, preparation day. You're just waiting for the Hajj to start. So the next day is the day of Arafah, is the most important day. Your coach or your bus will come and take you to the place called Arafah. It's a big place. There's a lot of tents. Advice here again, please stay on your tents. It's very hot. Sometimes you can get lost because there's a Mount of Mercy. It's called Mount of Mercy, Jabal Rahma. There is crowded and it's hot, and it's not advisable to go there. If you haven't been there, that's why we say sometimes people go and perform Umrah and you can see, this place by yourself during Umrah time. There is not that busy. But however, if you still wish you want to go, there is no harm. But make sure you know where your tent is, because millions of people are there, and a lot of people they go to Jabal Rahma. But in Arafah, anywhere in Arafah, you can make your supplications, because in Arafah it's all about supplications. It's about asking Allah. You ask Allah to forgive. Ask Allah, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana fil akhirati hasana qina adhaban nar. Any du'as that have a little notebook. Okay, write your du'as in any language that you understand, and they're the place that you can ask Allah. So Arafah, you stay until sunset. Again, your leader will lead you. Of course, they will give you the khutbah on Arafah. You realize the prayers also, they will be shortened as well. So anyway, you follow your leaders. So after Arafah, after the sunset, Maghrib, because in Arafah you'll pray Dhuhr and Asr. Maghrib, you're going to be praying in place called Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah is a place where you're going to be sleeping outside, nothing there except your sleeping bag. That place has not changed since the time of Prophet, peace be upon him. The only changes now is, of course, they build a toilet. Before then, nothing. So it's a plain ground. You got to take your sleeping bag. Depends upon your coach what time is going to come. Some they'll come straight away after Maghrib. Some they'll come 9 o'clock. Some 10 o'clock. Some, as long as you're gonna sleep in Muzdalifah. So the coach will come and take you straight to Muzdalifah. You can sleep outside. There you will pray Isha, Maghrib and Isha together. So once you finish Maghrib and Isha, there you stay until Fajr. So you're sleeping outside. Fajr time, you perform your Salat al-Fajr, and then again you make your way back to Mina. So sometimes here, some buses will come and take you, but if you're fit enough, you can walk straight away from Muzdalifah back to Mina. And of course, it's very, very busy. It's better if you can walk back to Mina. Mina, you stay there for some time. And again, there will be instructions. Of course, before even COVID, there were instructions that people go groups by groups because they're scared of people to clash each other, and then they will be stampeded. So you wait for your turn. When it's ready, you go to the place called Jamrat, where you're going to go through the stones. So you just go to the stones the first day. Again, here the procedures can be other way around. As long as you hear that the udhiyah, the qurban is done, then you're free to cut your hair, and then you can go even after you do the Jamra, you can go straight to Makkah, perform your tawaf al-ifada, and then you can come back to Mina. But then the first day to go perform tawaf al-ifada, it's so busy, it's so crowded, because the whole nearby countries, Saudi Arabia, they want to perform the tawaf al-ifada and they can go back to the countries. And remember, it's a day of Eid as well. So the place is absolutely full. So it's best, it's allowed to do tawaf al-ifada the second day or the third day. You're still allowed to do tawaf al-ifada the second day or the third day. However, if you wish to do the same day, so make sure you know your way around, because if you don't know your way around, you will get lost, because you have to come back and sleep in Mina for the second night. So process is very straightforward, but again, your leaders, depends who you travel with, they will tell you when are they allowed to go to do the Jamrat, to do throwing the stones. So maybe their slot will be 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. They have to go according to the slots. Just a quick point here. At the moment in Haram, you cannot go in, you cannot perform Umrah, you cannot perform Tawaf, unless otherwise you book your slot. Just like MK. When you come in pray, you need to book your slot for which Salah you're coming in. So with the Umrah as well, and this app I had is going to be applied also in terms of Hajj. So you book your slot with your visa. There's an app that your agents will provide you with, which is obviously is governed by Saudi Arabia. So you have to download that app and you have to use that app in order for you to go and perform the Umrah. So your appointment is booked within certain time, and you are given specific time to go and perform that or that tawaf. For example, tawaf al-ifada will be, so this is the time. So at the moment, it's very, very well organized. So what you need to do, download that app. Once you download that app, then your agency will help you how to, it will be on him basically to book your slot, because up until 4 months ago when they started, it used to be every agency was allowed 20 people only per time. So the agency will book all of you, and they will take you through to perform the Umrah or whatever rituals that you are allowed to. Because even the Salah as well, you have to book it. So in that way, they know the place is not overcrowded. So it seems like, so even when you come to do the tawaf, to do the Jamrat, also the agency will be allocated with the same time, the time that is being allocated. So you go ahead and perform your rituals. For example, you do your stones, you do your, once the Qurban is done, you shave your head, come back to Mina. If you're doing your Tawaf al-Ifada, you go and do Tawaf al-Ifada. If you're not, you come back to Mina. Next day, you go and do another Jamrat. So you're going to do 3 times. So, there's a Jamarat al-Kubra or Sughra. So you do the big one and the small one. So the first day you do one, and the second day you do all of them three. There are three of them. So it depends, again, your agents will, or your leader will lead you, inshallah. And then you do the second day, and then the third day. Fourth is optional now, either to stay or to go. فَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran Surah Al-Baqarah, those who wish to stay, they stay. There's no harm on them. And those who wish to go, there is no harm in them. So there you will find some people, they will remain extra day in Mina. And some people will say, no, I'm going back to the hotel. So they go back to the hotel. So for those who have not done Tawaf al-Ifada, they will go ahead and do their Tawaf al-Ifada. For those who have done Tawaf al-Ifada, then they are free. They just go back. In fact, there's a most important point here. You are not completely, once you shave your head, you can remove your ihram, but you are still, there are some conditions that apply on you. For example, you cannot, of course, you cannot sleep with your wife anyway at that time, because obviously men will be on their side and women will be on their side. So you still have restrictions. Up until you perform Tawaf al-Ifada, then you are completely free from the restrictions of ihram. So it's important, if you perform Tawaf, if you have not performed Tawaf al-Ifada, that means you are still in a state, some part of state of ihram. You can remove your two garments. You can wear, perfumes. You can wear anything else you want to wear, except you cannot have intercourse with the wife. So basically, and up until then. So once you've done that, Tawaf al-Ifada, you are absolutely free. The next thing is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your Hajj, because that's the most important thing. You have done everything, but then raise your hand and ask Allah to accept the Hajj. Then after that, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرُ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Then you can start, find the gift that you can bring home, but the best gift to take with you is the taqwa. When you come back to UK, you have to be a completely different person. Now you are Hajj, you have done Hajj. You can't be the same as those who have not been in Hajj. Allah left Hajj for the last pillar for the reason. When you complete your Hajj, that means, everything is done. But this should not hold you back. Because some people, they are staying back from performing Hajj because they think like, oh, once I've done Hajj, then I cannot do anything else. No, Hajj is important. As soon as you have money, financial-wise, you can afford, and healthy-wise, you are healthy enough, and you are matured, yes, you go and perform your Hajj, because it's compulsory on you, because you don't know what's going to happen next. Pandemic, we are in COVID-19, who knows, maybe there'll be COVID-20 or whatever it is, and then you won't even be able to perform Hajj anymore. So whenever you have opportunity to go and perform Hajj, do it hurry. The Prophet told us, those who wish to perform Hajj, let them hurry.
I would totally agree with that. And because before I would think, oh no, you need to get to a certain stage in your life where you perform Hajj. And one piece of advice I'd give people is, if you've got struggles in your life and you're not quite sure what to do, go and do your Hajj, and don't waste that time. Every single thing that you want in your life, write it down. And when you're on the day of Arafat, make those du'as, because I can tell you, I went, did we go in 2017? 4 years ago. And I can tell you that, almost every single one of the du'as I made became reality. Almost every single one. And don't think if it's going to happen immediately. And though these weren't for myself, these were for other people as well. So if if you go with a good intention to help somebody or make a dua for them, it's there's no other medicine in this world that I can recommend you take, but go and do your Hajj. And also, it's such a good point to say, do your Hajj while you're still fit and able to do it, because it's very intense. I mean, now I would rather think that people going to Hajj will probably have a better experience, because like you said before, Imam Ahmed, we were crammed in like sardines. Literally, you didn't have any room for your backpack. They had like these metal meshes coming from the ceiling, and the backpack was there, but then you had to ask somebody to get it, and there's no room. There's no walking room either. So, I put mine behind my head, and that was my pillow. But seriously, it's difficult. It's intense. It's emotionally intense, physically intense. Don't put it off. Do it as soon as you can. That's my recommendation from a personal perspective.
100%, because it's one of type of the type of worship that requires you physically to be fit, because you don't want people pushing you around, you don't want people to be carrying you, you don't want to leave late. And besides, apart from that, there is no guarantee in life. Anything can happen to anybody, but sometimes we think we're not ready. I'm not ready here yet. You will never be ready. Believe me, you will never be ready. But you just have to close your eyes and say, this is the thing I have to complete it. Let me do it now while I can, and you'll enjoy it. And the most important thing is to close your eyes on everything, because with the Hajj, Allah grants you Jannah. If the Hajj has been accepted, Allah will grant the Jannah. So now the Jannah does not come that easy. If the Jannah was easy, then the prophets and the past people would have not been struggling at all. But they went through a difficult. Allah says in the Quran, "Am hasibtum an tadkhulul Jannah." Do you think that you will enter the Jannah? وَلَمَّا يَأْتِكُمْ مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, while you will not go, or you will not experience what they have experienced people from the past. And here you think you and me can just go and perform Hajj, Allah grants the Jannah like that. It doesn't work like that. So that's why Hajj is difficult. Hajj is a test of mind. Hajj is a test of your patience. How much can you be patient? How much are you able? People will make you angry. People literally will make you angry. People will fight you. How can you? It's just and in Hajj there is no fight. You cannot fight. So how can you test yourself? So it's basically try to switch your mind off to anything. If the bus is delayed, just open the Quran and read. How long is it going to take you? If it's 3 hours, there you go, 3 juzu you got on your head already. Go.
It will be delayed a lot. They'll call you and then you'll go and sit down. They'll call you and then you go and sit down.
Sit down. Yeah, it's really test of patience. But this is to say also, it doesn't mean that, of course, within our rights we have to ask it. That's why I say it's important who you travel with, because there are certain things that the agency is able to do them, and certain things is out of their hands. For example, transportation, it depends how much they spend. If they spend quite good of money, they can have private transportation, which they have a control of it. But if it's the buses are called muallim, then they haven't got any control of that. Then they will bring it whenever they can. But a hotel is definitely, it's something to do with the agency. If he's telling you, I'm giving you a 5-star hotel, that means he has to live up with his promise. And if anything goes wrong with the hotel, it's the agency, between the agency and the hotel. But anything else to go, for example, transportation, it depends again, if it's through, the Ministry of Hajj or you book it privately. But you'll realize a lot of people save the money in terms of transportation. That's where they make their money. And in terms of the tents, when people are crowded in the tent, that's where the money is made as well. So again, it depends. It's on us right now. And you know what? Let us even forget about Hajj, the whole travel itself, the whole travel industry. Packages, any package you buy, you just have to be extra careful, very extra careful when you book. You thoroughly check, unless otherwise you're going to lose money. You're on mute.
That's really good advice. Thank you so much. We're going to end the show now, but again, if anybody has any questions, please do send them in and we will forward them to you, inshallah. Imam Ahmed, thank you so much for talking us through Hajj and making it very, very clear that everybody needs to hold on to their money until it's confirmed. And please book yourself a place, inshallah, through a reputable Hajj operator. Make sure they're IATA protected and ATOL protected as well. And make sure you ask lots and lots of questions. But if anyone's got any questions in the meantime, contact yourself. They can also email you at MK Tours. Is that right? Go to the website.
Yeah, they can email me at info@mktours.co.uk or ahmedhilal@mktours.co.uk. Anything to do with travel, not only Hajj and Umrah, anything to do with travel. If you're not sure a particular travel farm is at all protected, or if you find something fishy, because right now, even if it's a reputable company, there are certain things they are hidden. For example, this admin fee, you got to be very precisely sure with the admin fee. How much are they charging you in terms of admin fee? Because it can vary. It can start from £50, it can go to 500. So make sure that you know. The admin fee is just money to get bread and things like that. So any question to do with travel, I'll be more than happy to help you, to assist you, in terms of refunds and all things like that. Don't worry, drop me an email, or inshallah, or if you want to call, I will be able to assist you, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
One more thing. I think it's next Tuesday, isn't it? Remind them to tune, because there's a lot of people, going through. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you go to the I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you go to ramadanfm.com, it will tell you of our next show, which will be the marriage show. And we will be discussing issues that people have come across during the pandemic, because Imam Ahmed has been doing a lot of counselling. So if you've got any questions relating to that, please send them in advance, and inshallah make the most of a show. So, but for now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just before we get started, I wanted to make two quick announcements, inshallah ta'ala. One of them is that next week, inshallah, we're going to have a webathon bidhnillahi ta'ala, which you can see in the information in the link below, which is really to